It's such a beautiful day today. It's raining. It's really cozy. I'm not melting from the heat. It's beautiful. And also Chia's here, and Chia is amazing. And yeah, I'm excited for the episode, and I hope you guys are too. Today's episode has a bit of a theme of entitlement. Am I the a-hole entitled people? Maybe even entitled parents? But yeah, they should all be pretty fun and pretty entitled. And let's get into it. Entitled neighbor thinks it's my fault that he backed into my car. I wasn't anywhere near it at the time. It's my first time posting in this subreddit, and I'm weirdly excited. So, my story took place several years ago. I work in a group home for adults with special needs. The building I work in is just a regular bungalow in a residential area. Parking's not ideal because all we've got is one narrow driveway. So, if the driveway's free when you get there, fine. But if somebody's already parked there when you arrive, you end up blocking them in if you park in the driveway. This is not ideal, as we often leave on errands for the residents during our shift. So, when the driveway is occupied, we park on the street in front of the house. This is perfectly legal. I live in Canada, in an area that gets a ton of snow in the winter. So the only rules about parking are that you can't block a fire hydrant, and from the 15th of October to the 15th of April, you can't park on the street from midnight to 7 a.m. That's to allow snowplows to do their job in the event of a storm. All other times of day are fair game, and anything in the summer is acceptable. My story took place on a sunny afternoon in late June, so it was perfectly legal for me to park on the street. So I'm at work doing my job when there's a knock on the door. My co-worker answered. Turned out it was the guy who lived across the street. He and his wife were headed out of town and were traveling in their truck, which had a trailer on the back. My car was parked on the street across from him, and as he was backing out of his driveway, he backed his trailer right into my front driver's side wheel well. So I go out to inspect the damage, and he's already mad, saying how frustrating it is that the people in our house are always parked on the street. Makes it hard for him to get out of his driveway. Mind you, it's the first time he said anything to any of us, but whatever. I didn't say anything to him. I looked at my car and I saw the damage is pretty bad. Ended up costing $2,000 to repair. So I say let's exchange insurance information. Literally the only thing that I've said to him at this point. He then gets very angry, starts yelling and says that he refuses to go through insurance. It's my fault for being parked on the street, and he'll pay for the damages, but only if I take my car to this guy he knows. His wife adds that they were doing me a favor by even telling me. They could have just driven off. Well, technically yeah, but that's actually illegal, so no, you weren't doing me any favors. Again, I don't say much. I reiterate that I'd like to go through insurance. He flat out refuses, which is also illegal. So I say, fine, I'm going to call the police. At this point, he says that he's not sticking around and he and his wife drive off. So I called the cops. The cops arrive and they say that I'm parked illegally, and they say there's no reason that he shouldn't have been able to back out without hitting me. Now here's perhaps the most annoying part. They track him down the next day and they come back to let me know that they've spoken to him. Turns out he's a retired guard for the local jail, and according to the officer who did the follow-up, he seems like a good guy. Quite nice. Well, yeah, I'm sure he was nice to the cop. Me, the rather small female civilian, not so much. The cop tries to convince me to not go through insurance. Like, what? He's part of your club, so he gets a free pass to be an a-hole? No thanks. Dude verbally assaulted me for his mistake and then drove away from the scene of an accident. Fine him. Don't try to make it easier for him. He's an a-hole. I went through insurance and my insurance covered 100% of the cost, and they deemed it not my fault, which was a relief as it meant that my premiums were not affected. I'm pretty sure cops have to issue a ticket when a motor vehicle collision occurs, so I'm not sure what happened with the neighbor, but I'm guessing he received some sort of fine, because I know I didn't. That is so terrible. You handled this so well, OP, but it's so crappy from everybody in this except for you. This guy hits your car and then blames you because you parked there, even though there was obviously heaps of room. And the way that the cop was acting, it's kind of a happy ending because of your insurance, but not really. That is so terrible from everybody in this except for you. But yeah, the entitlement of that guy. Oh yeah, I'm gonna back into your car and then I'm gonna blame you. I hope they didn't get away with it. Surely not. The cop was like, oh yeah, nah, they're a good guy. What? Yeah, that one wasn't very satisfying. Yeah, that's not good. Post number 2 says, am I the a-hole for cancelling on our family cruise? So my parents wanted to do a cruise for the holidays. They invited me, 25 female, my boyfriend, 27 male, my brother, 28 male, and his girlfriend, 26 female. My brother, let's call him James, has always been the golden child. Some backstory: back in high school when James was discovered to be selling pills, he was just going through a phase. Meanwhile, when I got caught smoking weed, my parents threatened to kick me out. James lost his scholarship and dropped out of college 3 different times, but he's still perfect. I graduated a semester late and I didn't try hard enough. Okay, this one's already infuriating. James still lives in the state where he's attending college, and I live in my home state near my parents. He doesn't work, he's not currently in school. My parents buy him flights all the time to come and visit, but they don't buy me a flight to go see him or go anywhere else. My parents send him money for rent and life necessities. He bought a $2,000 dog recently with the money. When I got my first big job at 22, my parents immediately kicked me off their insurance since I had the option of benefits. James was on their insurance until he turned 26. Last year I got laid off and I moved back in with my parents to save money. When I got my new job, my parents told me that I needed to pay 10 grand in back rent, and that was never discussed previously. I did finish paying it off and I recently moved in with my boyfriend. It's been a pattern my entire life. James gets everything handed to him and I have to work my ass off. So now to the cruise. My parents said they wanted to do this and they bought tickets for themselves, James and his girlfriend. They told me to get my own ticket since I've got a well-paying job. I was super upset and I told them it wasn't fair that I was the only one who had to buy their own ticket. My boyfriend couldn't come due to holiday plans with his own family. My parents said that I was acting spoiled and that green wasn't a good look on me. I am so tired of hearing that phrase at this point. They said it's not like I had to get a nice room since we'd be outside in the majority of the time anyway, which is true, but then why get James a nice room? I decided that I'd had enough and I wasn't going. But here's where I may be the a-hole. I let them continue thinking that I was for months. Then on the night before they left, they said to get to their house by 8 a.m. so we could start the drive to the port. At 8:30 that day, they start messaging me, asking me where I am. I texted them, since you don't want to put any effort in to have me join you, I'll be attending my boyfriend's Thanksgiving instead. Have a nice trip with your favorite child. And then I muted the chat. I did talk to some friends about this and some said that it was petty of me to cancel without any warning, and others said I should have sucked it up and gone since I would have had fun when I got there. They've been on the cruise for a couple of days now and I'm starting to regret how I handled things. Yeah, I probably would have had fun and it's not like I couldn't afford the ticket. I also could have handled the delivery better, but at the same time, I'm so sick of them treating me like this. So, am I the a-hole? No, you're not the a-hole, OP, and why would you want to go anyway? OP, you doing this mildly petty thing that you did does not outweigh all of the awful stuff that they've done to you. Like, just because you were a little bit petty with how you handled this, that does not make you the a-hole. This comment says, it was definitely petty, but honestly, why would you want to spend more time with the family that treats you like that? I understand them paying things to your brother since you can't afford it and it's their money, but to imply that you're jealous when they're clearly favoring your brother all that time, they still went on the cruise, so I don't think it was that big of a deal. I'd go low to no contact with them since they've been so indifferent to your presence, and that would save you a lot of trouble too. Yeah, and the comment below that one. Yeah, OP, you might have had fun, but since you can't afford the ticket and you resent being forced to while your brother and his girlfriend get a free ride, why not save the money now and go on a cruise with your boyfriend later, where you will have fun and not have to be constantly reminded that you're not the favorite child. Yeah, for sure, go on a cruise with your boyfriend, OP. You're definitely not the a-hole, and hopefully your parents actually thought about it. By the sounds of it, they probably still didn't. But no, of course you're going to be frustrated, OP. You're not imagining this favoritism. It's real, and it's right in front of your face. They're actually rubbing it in your face. Yeah, like this one says, not the a-hole. Your parents are the a-hole, and they should be grateful that you still talk to them. Though I don't really understand why you do. Yeah, for sure, that would be so understandable if you were like, okay, I'm done with you guys. And yeah, not the a-hole. Good on you for standing up for yourself. I feel like if I were in your shoes, OP, I'd remove myself from as many situations with them as I possibly could. I feel like that would put a lot less stress on your life. And yeah, by the sounds of it, they're not going to change. Post number 3 is on entitled people. My neighbor doesn't buy her kids any snacks or drinks. We bought our house that we're in 8 years ago. 2 months ago, my husband passed away from cancer. Oh, I'm so sorry, OP. We are financially secure, but when we moved in, we started to meet the neighbors after we were settled in. There was one little girl who was about 4. As she got to know us, she started spending a lot of time with us. We took her on vacations and dinners, shopping and parks. This little girl, F, even spent the night with us. I spoiled her and I got her many treats and clothing and gifts. We then met her older sister, Tenish, who started asking for the same stuff, which I kept giving them sodas and snacks and food. She soon started bringing her other friends over. I finally decided to put a stop to her and her friend 11, and I told them I'm cutting this gravy train off because I have to go shopping more often than I wanted to. It was getting old, and I even complained to the parents of them about the older kids, hoping that they'd stop their kids, but of course they didn't. So 3 years ago, the older sister, R, asked me what I'm buying her for Christmas this year. I told her that's not happening anymore. The same night, she tried to set our house on fire. Oh my god. I was going to call the police, but the mother said that it would be too extreme, and she'll deal with her, and she won't be allowed to go anywhere for 2 months, and she'll take away her phone and stuff. I saw her going everywhere the same day and the days following. 5 days after I talked to her mum about it, R sent me a text asking for $15. No apologies, nothing. Just straight out, do you have $15? I forwarded that text to her mum and nothing. So I stopped acknowledging her when I saw her anywhere. I just ignored her. She started tossing things in our swimming pool. My husband told them that he was done with their child, and he put more security cameras around our house. She has major anger issues. She tried to get her guy friends to take out the cameras, and of course we saw that and called called the police and we showed them the proof, they talked to the boys who said that R had offered to let them fill her up if they damaged our cameras. Ew. My husband said if they ever come close to our home or our vehicles, they'll be carried away in a body bag, which did scare them. The family rented their house out and moved far away, but 6 months ago they moved back into their house. I still ignore the free moocher. She kept on sending F over to us for so many things, which mainly included food but not limited to, so she now knows that I won't budge. Plus now she's 17 and F is 12. The mother kicked the older monster out because she couldn't handle her. She steals from everybody and anybody, stores, parents, friends and neighbors. I blame the mother for not disciplining her when she should have. Now F has started following in the footsteps of her older sister. As far as wanting snacks and drinks, she asked for bottled water many times. One day I told her that she should drink tap water and she said that she hates the tap water, and she too started bringing a friend around. I saw the friend L one day outside looking very hot. She lives several streets away, so I gave her a bottle of Sunny D. She left and then within 5 minutes F was on my door ringing the doorbell frantically and trying to open the door. I was watching from the cameras while I was handling some insurance claims for my husband's passing. I was emotional and I ignored her. They did leave, but as I'm watching, she took her much younger friend's juice and she poured it all out. I guess her thinking was if I can't get any, then she shouldn't either. Now F is a very nice and thoughtful girl, but since she knows that I like her, she asked me for anything that she wants. Again, it's gotten old, and 2 days after they both came to my door in the guise of checking in on me, when I didn't offer them anything to drink, F started talking rather loud and she said, "I want Dr. Pepper," while her friend just loudly saying, "Me too." I told F that both your parents work, ask them to buy it for you. She looked shocked and said, "But I thought you loved me." I said that doesn't mean that I'll give you things you want anytime you want. The younger friend had seen my DoorDash delivery once. We'd gotten some KFC and she told F that we had KFC, and then they came to ask us for some. I told her we got 2 bowls and my daughter and I shared, and my son had one and there was no chicken. The mother is very aware of the demands that her kids make from the other neighbors. She's been separated from her husband for many years. She can buy high-end designer handbags, but other than giving her kids food, she won't buy them anything. I'm grieving and these people are now asking me for firewood to keep their house warm. It's not my job to do that. Their home uses oil for heat and it's probably about the same price to fill up as her Gucci handbag does. I've got central heat, but I also have the fireplace in the cold days. She doesn't prioritize. I don't know what to do because after telling them so many times that we aren't rich enough to feed the neighbors, and I also don't want to sell my house, they're freeloaders. The mum asked me to sell our older van on a payment plan, but I refused to sell it. I'm emotionally attached to it because that was my husband's commuter van. It's only 2 months since he's been gone. I'm not ready to part with any of his things for now. Any advice? Thank you in advance. Yeah, like the top comment says, stop answering the door, block her number, maybe call CPS for a wellness check. Maybe that'll be enough for the mum to tell the kids to back off. You need to be very clear with the kids that they're no longer welcome on your property, and send it in a letter to the mum. Yeah, and also this one, I'm wondering if a restraining order might be required at this point. You can't even grieve with these people around. The mum isn't doing anything, so the 12-year-old is going to turn into the older sister. Yeah, and then the mum's just going to kick out the younger one like they did with the older one, because they turn into a monster because they don't even parent them. That is so unbelievably infuriating. And it's infuriating to read about, and they're your neighbors, OP. Like, hey, I don't want to have to sell my house and move because of you. Yeah, you're going to have to be like very serious with this, OP. You're going to have to stop answering the door. You're going to have to say no every time. And yeah, God, you might actually need a restraining order. Like the oldest daughter tried to set your house on fire, OP, and you were going to call the police, but the mother said that that would be too extreme and she'll deal with her. But she didn't do anything. Like, you know that it's going to be the exact same for the younger daughter. Yeah, you have to put a stop to this, OP. And good luck with it too, because it doesn't sound like it's going to be fun. Post number 4 is also on entitled people. Girl destroys my car and then lies about it. I never post on here, especially not on subreddits like this one, but this happened to me yesterday and I need to get it out somewhere. I was driving home from the grocery store yesterday with my girlfriend and our roommate. We're not exactly mature, upstanding adults. We're all college students. I'm 22 and they're both 21, but we're all varying degrees of financially independent. We've got jobs and we pay our own rent and we pay the loan on the car that's now destroyed. I'm driving through a large but not super busy intersection and a car speeds out in front of me to take a left while I'm already inside the intersection. I slam the brakes, but I can't stop in time. The front of my car collides with the side of theirs. Knees slam into the front of the console. The airbags go off. Smoke everywhere. None of us have ever been in a crash this big before. We're immediately panicking, getting out of the car, making sure everybody's okay. No major injuries, but we are pretty bruised up. That is such a relief, OP. Car accidents are terrifying. Girlfriend and roommate start working on getting our groceries out of the car and finding somebody to come and pick us up while I talk to the other driver and I exchange information. The other driver's a 19-year-old girl and she's sitting on the curb with a friend while her third friend gives me her license and takes pictures of my license and all my insurance info. She tells me the driver's mum's coming out to get documents out of the car, which is not in nearly as bad of a condition as mine, and they could easily go get them, and then she'll give those to me when she gets here. I call 911, and then I spend most of the next 2 hours on my phone with my insurance company trying to get us a tow truck. The city ends up towing both cars away since I can't move mine out of the road. When I try to turn it on so I can move it into a parking lot out of the way, it doesn't move when I press the gas and the engine starts smoking. The other girl doesn't try to move her car, which looks to me like it is still in driving condition, albeit not great condition. The cops show up to get our statements. I tell them exactly what happened. I don't make any grand statements about who was at fault because the situation speaks for itself. I do think I said that I had the right of way because I did. She goes to get the other girl's statement. The first thing that she says is that I had the right of way. The cop clarifies, so you had the green turn arrow? And she says yes. I jump in to correct her and say something to the effect of the light was green. I don't know what she saw, but if she had the turn arrow, then the light on my side would have been red. So I don't understand how she could have had the arrow. The cop nods and then writes that down. Whatever. Continues to ask clarifying questions about whether she had the green arrow and asks if she was the only car turning, which she was. She says there were lots of cars turning in front of her. I didn't correct this one because I was so shocked. I only fully processed that she'd even said this after because it was such an obvious and blatant lie. Well, whatever. At some point while we were getting questioned, her mum shows up. She listens to her daughter's story where she's claiming that she had the right of way and that I blew through a red light and drove straight into her, and she believes it unquestioningly. The cop also asks if we want a paramedic called. Me and my friends report all of her injuries to her, but we tell her it's not an immediate emergency. The driver's friend insists that her friends are in shock and need medical attention, although the friends deny it. Paramedics and firefighters are called. Both when they show up ask me and my friends if we were in the other girl's car, probably since we were acting relatively normal and unhurt, and the other three are acting like it's a major catastrophe. My engine is shot and my airbags have gone off. Their car is in nowhere near as bad of condition. The paramedics seem annoyed to have had to come check on these girls who turned out to be completely fine, but maybe that was just me extrapolating. We tell the paramedics about all of our injuries. They tell us to go get those checked out and leave without looking at us at all. The mother is being pretty bitchy, for lack of a better word, but I don't realize this until later because the accident is so clear cut and it's so obvious that her daughter is at fault that I don't even realize she's trying to shift all the blame onto me, repeatedly saying when he hit her. And at one point she says, well, there are cameras so we'll see what really happened. It didn't even occur to me until later that she was insinuating that I was a liar because I just thought, yeah, the cameras will show that her daughter caused the accident. Obviously. The cop tells us that they're live camera feeds, so they may not have actually picked up a recording, but I'm still feeling pretty confident about the details of the situation. At this point, the tow truck has shown up and the situation is winding down, and my girlfriend reminds me that before we leave with the friend who's come to bring us home, I still need to get this girl's registration and insurance information. So I go up to this girl and her mother and I ask to get the information. This other guy showed up. I think he was an older brother of one of the girls. Reminds me that I gave them my insurance but not my registration. So of course I'm like, oh yeah, let me get that for you. They take a photo of my registration. They now have all the information I could possibly give them. I asked the mother for her information. She asked me if I want to take a photo of her license plate. I'm like, yeah, I guess that's a good idea, and I do. Then I ask again to see her registration and insurance card, and she refuses. Says they'll be in the police report. I say I know they'll be in the report, but I'd like to get them now so I can file an insurance claim. And I don't say this because she's clearly already not my biggest fan, but I just gave her my information. I would expect if she wants all of my documents, she'd be willing to give hers in return, but she says no again, gets in her car and shuts the door on me. Fine, whatever. I asked the cop for their insurance information, and she tells me that she's not legally allowed to give that to me, and I'll have to wait for the report. Well, whatever. We went home. I filed an insurance report today. The car is totaled to nobody's surprise. I've been in car accidents before, and I've been in an accident where I had to file through insurance, and I understand that you're not supposed to admit fault even if you caused it, but this is the first accident that I've been in where the other party straight up lied about what happened. I'd only had the car for a year and a half, and I still have $6,000 left to pay. Just the more I think about it retrospectively, the more it pisses me off. All three of us who were in my car got injured. None of the other girls in the other car did. My car's totaled. Theirs isn't. I was going straight, she was making a left, and her mother has the audacity to blame me for it and call me a liar when she wasn't even there to see what happened. Her daughter f***ed up my car and my body and my finances, and she wants her to get off without any consequences. I can't imagine my parents ever sticking up for me like that in a situation where I was so clearly at fault. I don't want to have to take them to court, but it seems like it's going to come to that. The way I had to stand there and handle everything on my own while her mother covered her ass and blamed me for the whole thing was so deeply infuriating. I don't understand why entitled parents feel like they can protect their children from all possible consequences. And I don't understand why you feel the need to villainize me when you're clearly in in the wrong. I'll probably delete this because I hate to be a Reddit complainer, but I needed to complain about it in proper detail, and Twitter isn't a good place to do that. Genuinely screw this woman and screw her lying daughter. I'm talking to a lawyer and I'm getting my loan paid off and a nicer, newer car than I started with. I don't think I'm a perfectly moral person, but at least I'm not so entitled that I'll lie to a cop's face and think I'm gonna get away with it. Edit, I did not expect so many people to be so invested in this, and I probably wouldn't have droned on for so long if I realized it would get this much traction. Just to address the most frequent comments. Number 1, I'm talking to a lawyer tonight and I'll go from there. Not gonna continue posting every detail of this on the internet, but I'll keep this post up to have a record. Number 2, my girlfriend went to the doctor today and they told her she has whiplash and prescribed her muscle relaxers. I and our roommate have appointments for tomorrow. I know everybody said to go to urgent care immediately, but we get free appointments through student health at our college, and even if I would get paid back for it, I'd prefer not to spend that money right now, so tomorrow's gonna have to do. Also, I'll definitely invest in a dash cam for my next car. I kept on meaning to get one for this one, but I kept putting it off because I didn't want to spend the money, but I'm definitely not gonna wait after this. Number 4, to everybody saying this is what insurance is for, and I won't have to sue her, I understand. I'm hoping it can get settled through insurance, but based on the way her mum's acting, I kind of feel like they are gonna try to take me to court, especially because the evidence is so clearly not in their favor, and I doubt they'll be happy with the insurance outcome. Hopefully not though. I'm preparing myself for the worst case scenario. Oh my god. What did we just read? That was infuriating. OP, that was so aggravating to even read. I'm angry for you, OP. I don't know who's more annoying, the girls in the car or the girl's mum. I don't even know what to say. The entitlement. I feel like the stories have been pretty entitled so far. Let's move on to the next one. I like to move on relatively fast, just so we're not thinking about these for too long. Especially one like this, I feel like the more you think about it, the more annoying it gets. Good luck with this, OP. Story number 5 is an Am I the A-hole one. Am I the a-hole for telling my sister my feelings about her have not changed after she confronted me for telling her fiance the truth? 7 years ago, my sister had an affair with my ex-husband. We were still married at the time, I believed happily, and she was his mistress. Okay, wait a second. Oh god. I'm not ready to read this one. 7 years ago, my sister had an affair with my ex-husband. We were still married at the time, and I believed happily, and she was his mistress. I caught them together and I banished both of them out of my life. I divorced him. I told her to get away from me, and the two of them stayed together for a couple of years, and they had a child. My sister tried to reconcile with me 5 different times. I rejected her, and I told her I'd never forgive her for what she did. And I did call her some names, and I did wish for some bad things to happen to her, i.e. for him to cheat on her and to destroy her life like they did mine. And I told her she'd deserve it all and not to cry to me if she caught anything off him. I actually did a full STD, STI panel after finding out that he'd been cheating on me with her. I was negative, but you can never be too careful, and he never denied there being more. I've been 100% no contact with my sister since, and I never met her child. Not even when ex cheated while she was pregnant, and she ended up homeless. Wait, so he cheated on her when she was pregnant? Wow, that makes sense, doesn't it? That's not surprising at all. I told her family members that I would not accept being around her. A couple of weeks ago, this guy reached out to me. He's engaged to my sister and was mad that I wasn't there to meet him at the dinner party that my parents hosted to meet him for the first time. The audacity. He said my sister was so upset that she had wanted me to forgive her, that he felt that I was crappy to be mad at her dating an ex of mine. I corrected him and said she was his mistress, that I was married to him, still actively married when they had an affair, and I told him I caught them in my home and in my bed. He didn't reply. Yeah, oh my god, stay out of it, dude. I'm assuming you don't even know this person, and they're coming to you angry about something they know nothing about. That is so wild. Several days after, my sister showed up and was pissed off at me for telling him what I did because he left her. She told me that I should be willing to put the past behind us and to reconcile, and to stop treating her like she's a criminal or evil. Yeah, I don't know, you've done some pretty evil stuff. She said I act like she repulses me. I told her because she does. And I told her my feelings had not changed at all in 7 years. She cried and told me that one of us could die and would never reconcile if I'm not willing to try. And I said that I would not care. I told her she could die tomorrow and I would not regret my decision not to reconcile. I told her I no longer cared what happened to her or if she was okay or not. She left in tears. OP, I am so unbelievably proud of you. My parents were so angry she confronted me. They had already been disgusted with her for being the other woman, but to confront me for correcting her lie, they said that it showed that she had not grown at all. While my aunt told me that I had no need to be so cruel after time had passed. No, stay out of it. She told me that I'm treating my sister worse than she treated me. No, you're not. And that I should be ashamed of myself for saying that I wouldn't care if she died because it's an evil thing to say to anybody, let alone family family? Am I the a-hole? Hey aunt, this sister has not been family for years. They stopped being family when they cheated with OP's husband. Yeah, the top comment, well, actions have consequences. I wouldn't forgive either. Yeah, same here, and I'm so proud of you, OP, for not letting her walk all over you. You're not putting up with any crap, and you're not open to having a relationship with her, and that's completely fine. Yeah, like this comment says, the cheating was pretty unforgivable on its own. The fact that she continued a relationship with the guy and had a kid with him just puts everything so far beyond a redemption. Yeah, 1,000,000%. And guess who's 100% at fault for that? The sister. And with the crap OP's aunt said, I've got no doubts they've probably had an affair themselves. This comment says, not the a-hole. She lied to her new guy because the truth would make her single again. Yeah, and it did. Any decent man would never get with a woman who banged their sister's husband. And she knows this. Tell your aunt to off and ask her who she cheated with. P.S. Your sister isn't family. You don't bang your family spouse and marry them afterwards. Yeah, this is so unforgivable. And good on you, OP, for not forgiving her. You shouldn't forgive her. She does not deserve forgiveness. And yeah, the aunt can take a hike with what they were saying. The aunt was so out of line. And yeah, the aunt's probably a cheater. That's probably why they're so defensive. That one was so bad. As soon as we started it and it said, my sister had an affair with my husband in OP's bed. And OP caught them. I feel like this is the most actions have consequences post I've ever seen. Like, hey sister, you did all of this. You banged your sister's husband in your sister's bed, and then you had a kid with your sister's husband. OP, you are doing the right thing here by never talking to them ever again. Like, of course the sister shouldn't be a part of your life. This is not some little thing that we're talking about. It's completely unforgivable. Like, there are lines that once you cross, you 100% can't go back. Yeah, good job, OP. You're definitely not in the wrong. Yeah, like this comment says, stop treating me like I'm evil. Girl, you cheated with your sister's husband. What were you expecting, a birthday card every year? You're not obligated to forgive just because time passed. Healing does not mean letting toxic people back in your life. That is such a good comment. Yeah, just because it's been a long time does not change anything. Okay, the next one is also on Am I the A-hole? Am I the A-hole for altering a bridesmaid dress so it's not so revealing? My brother Joe, 55 male, is about to marry Sue, 27 female. A few months ago, Sue asked both me, 60 female, and my sister June, 53 female, to be bridesmaids. Okay, so before we move on, that's a 28-year age difference, basically a 30-year age difference. I'm just mentioning that in case you're curious. I was touched as I've only met Sue a few times. They live in another state. Besides myself and June, there are 4 other bridesmaids, all under 30. When Sue sent me the link to the bridesmaid dress, I was horrified. I'm sure the dress will look lovely on her young friends, but I would not want to be seen wearing it in public. It's super sexy, plunging neckline, thigh-high slit, so clingy that it'd reveal every lump on my rump. Please understand that I'm not a prude. I'm reasonably fit and I enjoy dressing up, but I'm 60 years old. I would not be comfortable showing that much skin at a formal event with all of our relatives present. I called Sue and I nicely asked her if there was a more modest version that I could wear. She insisted this was the dress that she wanted all her bridesmaids in, and she wouldn't budge. And not wanting to cause any family strife, I didn't push it. June doesn't like it either, but she's a marathon runner so she can pull it off. So I ordered the dress several sizes too large. I took it to a seamstress and I had her take it in so it fits me but doesn't cling so tight to my backside. Using some of the extra fabric, she fixed the neckline so it doesn't reveal so much boobage, and she lowered the height of the thigh slit so it's a few inches above my knee, rather than nearly to my panties. The adjustments are very subtle and hardly noticeable. It actually looks great on me now. When Sue heard that I'd had the dress altered, she flew into a rage. She texted me that she doesn't want a chopped up dress in her wedding pictures. Wow, so rude. I sent her photos of me wearing it, but she's not having it. Joe called me and told me that I've been disinvited from the wedding party and that they've replaced me with another friend. I thought they didn't want me at the wedding at all, so I cancelled my hotel reservation. I hadn't bought my plane ticket yet. Clearly, I've upset Sue and I don't want there to be any conflict on her big day. Plus, I'm afraid there'll be awkward questions about why my sister's a bridesmaid and I'm not. It seems to me that it'd be less awkward for them to respond to any questions about me with vague, she was unable to make the trip answers. And I'm also not keen on spending more money on this event where I don't really feel welcome. I've already dropped several hundreds on this dress and alterations and matching shoes. I let Joe know that I'm still very happy for him and I will of course send them a generous wedding gift, but he said that they did want me there and now he's not speaking to me at all. And Sue's telling June that I ruined her wedding. Wow. Am I the a-hole for altering the dress so I wouldn't feel naked? And once that blew up for not wanting to go to the wedding? No, OP, this is ridiculous. There are comments saying that OP's the a-hole because they altered the dress significantly enough that it'll stand out when you're grouped together with all the other bridesmaids. I don't agree with that. By the sounds of it, it doesn't really look any different. They lowered the slit on the thigh. That's not going to be super noticeable. They added a bit of extra fabric to the neckline, and that's it. It's going to look very much the exact same as all the other ones. I'm sure people aren't going to be like studying every single dress. They're still the same dress. Surely, right? Like, it's not going to look completely different. The bride sounds absolutely awful. The top comment says, not the a-hole. Sue's acting like you ruined your dress completely, even though you paid a professional. Also, the age gap between the happy couple is a little odd. She shouldn't be surprised that a different generation wants to dress slightly differently. Yeah, it's a different generation. That's completely right. And also, it says here, I called Sue and I asked nicely if I could wear a more modest dress, but Sue wouldn't let OP wear something different, so OP ordered the dress. So yeah, OP paid for this dress on their own. I guess OP could have asked about the alterations first, but I'm a little bit confused here because it doesn't sound like it's gonna look completely different. And what did Sue say? I don't want a chopped up dress in my wedding pictures. Hey Sue, it's not really a chopped up dress. A seamstress altered it a little bit so that OP is a little bit more comfortable, but it's still the same dress. The second top comment says, honestly, your mistake was letting anybody know that you did it, not the a-hole. The whole bride me thing makes me want to vomit. Yes, same here. The one below that says, everybody sucks. I knew that we were in for a ride with a 55-year-old groom and a 27-year-old bride, and this did not disappoint. I feel like these dresses either skew super fancy or super trashy, and I've got a theory on which end of the spectrum that they fall. Regardless, the bride is acting a little over-controlling here, and Joe is enabling the vengeful crazy. OP asked for a reasonable accommodation, and they went nuclear. OP's being an a-hole to themselves by still sending a generous wedding gift after being so blatantly discarded. Technically, altering the dress unilaterally was suspect, but given the circumstances and the type of people that she's dealing with, I give a pass on that since it was done tastefully within the spirit of the original. Yeah, that's such a good comment. No, I don't feel like you're the a-hole, and you sound really reasonable here, OP. Like, I'm sorry that I'm 60 and I don't want to wear a super sexy dress. Yeah, but like that comment said, as soon as you read the part where it said 55 male and 27 female, you knew that we were in for a fun time. Okay, post number 7 is on Am I Wrong? My wife's friend invited a guy to their hotel room. I'm feeling a little uncomfortable with this and I'm wondering if others would feel the same. Some background. My wife, we're both in our 30s, is a super fan of a band and tends to travel to see them now and then. We went to a festival together out of town last March to see them, and we made friends with the guy 40s at a show. I had no issue with it. He seemed fine and appropriate with her. They saw an act together that I skipped even, and she added him on socials. I don't have any. A few months later, she told me that she felt like he was being a little flirty with her online, even after her correcting him once, so she removed him from socials. All good with me. I've always been able to trust her to handle stuff like that herself. We traveled to see the band again a few months ago, but I didn't go to the show. We met after and she let me know that she ran into the guy and talked for a few minutes as she was leaving. No worries. She and a female friend 40s just went out of town for a 2-night fest where this band was playing. No issue with her traveling without me. She shared a room with 2 beds with her friend. First night this guy was there of course, and her friend hit it off with him. Wife was happy for them and I had no qualms for them either. Second night her friend asked if he could stay on the pull-out couch in their hotel room as he was sleeping in his car. Wife was kind of annoyed but felt too rude to say no to her. I didn't love this. It gave me a bad feeling. Looking back, I should have expressed it, but I didn't want my wife to think I didn't trust her, and I hate coming off as controlling. I just think sleeping in the same room is a bit much. The next morning, my wife texted me annoyed because, big surprise, at some point the guy joined her friend in bed and they had sex. More than once. They were trying to be quiet, but my wife is a real light sleeper and heard everything. In the same bed? Wait, no, not the same bed, right? There's 2 beds? Surely not in the same bed. No, there's 2 beds. She was uncomfortable, but when I asked why she didn't speak up or leave or something, she said that she just wanted to be polite. She has issues, I think, with people pleasing when it comes to her friends. She seems to have brushed the whole thing off, but I'm very uncomfortable that she was a few feet away from another guy literally banging somebody. Am I crazy or should I have been better at enforcing boundaries? Edit, clarifying a couple of things. I don't think my wife is lying about anything that happened. I don't think she cheated. I just think she shouldn't be sharing a room with a straight single guy at all, and I definitely don't think she should be present while people are having sex. I don't think her intentions were bad. I just think she should have had better boundaries. I'm not mad at her. Also, it's not coincidence that she is at the same show as this guy, nor is it planned. They're just big fans of the same not very big band and like to be close to the stage. My wife saw the same band 5 times this year. He was at like 3 out of those and probably went to more closer to where he lives, which is quite far away from us. There are other fans you see frequently at shows as well that travel from even further, so it's not really that unusual. Might as well add, yeah, her friend was definitely with her. She traveled to her house to ride with my wife, saw her arrive and leave, and her car sat here all weekend. They took pictures together at the show as well. Right, okay. Yeah, like the top comment says, her friend and the guy should have gotten their own room. Your wife needs to say something to her friend if she ever expects to go out of town with her again. This guy, I feel, is a little too comfortable with being overly flirty and sexual around your wife, and I'd have a conversation with your wife about sticking up for herself and not being around him anymore. The comment below that says, dude was 100% hoping for a threesome. The wife needs to tell her friend, look, I heard you guys and it was super uncomfortable. I need you to promise not to do something like that with me in the room, or we can't do stuff like this anymore. Yeah, and also not stuff when this other guy's involved either. This comment says, that's a lot of bull drama for a married man to deal with. Yeah, 1,000,000%. I hope the wife wasn't cheating. Even if she's not though, that's still not okay. Like, leave the situation. Oh, I'm gonna stay to be polite. Nah. This comment says, you're married in your 30s. This dude's apparently sleeping in his car in his 40s, and your wife's friend is in her 40s. Why's everybody acting like they're 19? If your wife can't find the guts to say something in that situation, then she should not be traveling on her own. That's a messed up situation involving a horny homeless dude who's been flirty with your wife, naked in a bed next to her with his ding dong out. She stays in the room to be polite. The whole thing smacks of convenience and untruths. I don't want to suspect your wife of cheating, but God, it's a little fishy, isn't it? Like, this same guy better not keep on popping up. Either way, your wife definitely should have got out of there. Your wife definitely should be more upset at the friend. They definitely probably shouldn't be friends. Yeah, I hope the wife's being honest. It does sound like she is, and yeah, hopefully all of that's true. Yeah, that is such an icky situation though, for your wife and also for you, OP. Okay, the next one that we're going to read is on entitled parents. The time an entitled mum tried to reserve my cat for her kid's birthday. So I, 18 female, have a very fluffy, very adorable cat named Mochi. He's my little buddy and he's got one of those Instagram accounts where I post his funny antics. So a lot of people in my neighborhood know about him, including this one mum who I'll call EM, who's got a 6-year-old daughter super into cats. No biggie, right? One day EM messages me on Instagram saying that her daughter is totally obsessed with Mochi and asking if I could bring him to her daughter's birthday party for the following weekend so that the kids can play with him. I politely decline, explaining that Mochi doesn't do well in new environments and would probably hide or freak out around loud kids. EM's response, well, can you loan him to us for the day? What? Oh, get out of here. Yeah, she literally wanted us to hand over my cat as if he were a library book or something. She promised that they'd take good care of him and even offered to pay me $20 for the inconvenience. I politely refuse again, saying that Mochi isn't up for loan and I don't think it'd be safe or comfortable for him. EM immediately switches tactics, calling me selfish and accusing me of gatekeeping joy from her daughter. Oh my God. You're selfish because you don't want your cat to be in somebody else's house? No, you're not, OP. She rants about how it's just one day and I owe it to the community because I flaunt Mochi's photos on the internet. Now I'm getting irritated. Yes, same. I tell her that my cat isn't an accessory and he's definitely not something that I owe to the neighborhood. I assume that's the end of it until the day of the party. I'm in my apartment when I hear a loud knock at the door. It's EM and her daughter with the girl holding a sparkly cat carrier. EM smiles and says, oh, we came to pick up Mochi. What? She acts like we'd agreed on this and then expected me to hand him over on demand. This could be the most infuriating thing I feel like we've ever read. Completely stunned, I tell her, I never agreed to this and I'm not going to give you my cat. EM's smile drops instantly and she launches into this loud and dramatic rant about how I'm ruining her daughter's special day and that I shouldn't show off my cat if I don't want to share. That doesn't make any sense. Her daughter starts tearing up and EM gives me this accusing look like I've just broken her kid's heart on purpose. This could be the most self-centered and entitled thing I feel like I've ever read. The absolute goal of this person. The neighbor down the hall actually poked her head out to see what was going on, which was enough for EM to grab her daughter and storm off yelling, I'll make sure everybody knows how selfish you are. Later, I found out from mutual friends that she spread a story around the neighborhood that I baited her daughter with Mochi, only to withhold him out of spite. Nobody believed her, but she still gives me the dirtiest looks anytime I pass her. Who cares? Mochi, completely oblivious and unbothered, living his best life as usual. Edit, the cat has passed away. I'm sorry, don't ask for cat tax out of respect. I do love my late cat and I wanted to relive an old memory, so that's why I'm writing this. Oh, sorry to hear that about Mochi, OP. Yeah, I'm actually kind of speechless after what we just read. Like, you think I care what you think? Random person that feels entitled to my cat? You're so self-centered that you feel like I give a damn what you think? That is so infuriating. Like, oh no, your daughter's upset because you lied to them. Yeah, that is so bad. It does sound like you handled this well though, OP. Okay, the next one is also on entitled parents. Entitled aunt demands that I take out my piercing. A few days ago, my family met at my great-grandparents' house for a family Christmas celebration. My great-aunt, grandma's sister, was there with their grandson, his wife, and their child. This particular aunt is always causing drama in the family. We'll call her R. My dad took me to get my septum pierced for my 18th birthday early in 2023, so I've had it pierced for a while. I've only had the plain silver horseshoe that I got back when it was first pierced for a while, but I recently got a new horseshoe piercing decorated with a bee on it and a honeycomb on the other end. It does stand out more than the other one, so I guess she finally noticed it during our celebration. I was sitting on the stairs with my brother as always. I was sitting on the floor across from the stairs with her great-granddaughter S, and also two of my younger cousins. She stared at me for a while, which I assume was because of my hair, because she never liked the fact that I shaved the sides and got an undercut. Instead, she asked me if I had my septum pierced. I said I did, and she simply asked why. Before I could even answer her, the answer would have been something along the lines of because I wanted to. She goes, you know, they say that a woman gets her septum pierced so her husband can attach her to a leash and drag her around by it. Right, okay, she actually said that in front of the three younger girls. My aunt and uncle who were sitting on the couch off to my left were shocked. Since none of us wanted to cause a scene, we kind of laughed it off. I was a bit snappy and said, well, mine's a horseshoe, not a ring, so it doesn't matter. The topic was dropped for a while. Later, after we all ate lunch, R cornered me by the bathroom after I washed my hands and demanded that I take the piercing out because I was being a bad influence for poor S. S was too busy playing around in her new princess dress to even notice anything, so that was a load of crap. I'm a very anxious person normally, but this if a lady has had something against me and my dad basically my entire life, so I was sick of her crap. I told her to back off and stop judging me and my decisions when she screwed up her own marriage so much that her ex doesn't even like being referred to as her ex because it connects him to her. She gave me so many nasty looks the rest of the afternoon, but I didn't care. I'm already planning on getting more nose piercings, and her stupid ideals can't stop me. Yeah, oh, you're being a terrible influence for this young person that probably hasn't even noticed it and also doesn't care because it's not you being a bad influence. There's nothing wrong with a septum piercing. Like, whoa, big surprise. It doesn't mean anything bad. Yeah, your aunt is just an a-hole. And I feel like that's enough for today. That was an infuriating, beautiful episode that was so full of entitlement. Like, that really was a lot of entitlement. I hope you guys had a good time today, and I hope you're okay after what we've read. I've got a cute cat wholesome meme to show you. Being around cats make you say things that you've never imagined that you'd say. Like, why are you sleeping on my salad? Wow, that's so cute. Have I read this one before? I can't remember. Maybe I have, but it's okay. It's so beautiful. Like, hey, stop sleeping on my salad. Yeah, I never felt like that was something that I was gonna say. That's so cute. Thank you for watching, everybody. I hope you had a wonderful time today. If you did, make sure you subscribe if you want to, and also let me know down below. And the comment of the day goes to Serene Pastel. Oh, the struggles of two cats sharing the top of a cat tree. May they both nap well on that platform. Yeah, it's so cute, isn't it? Every time Nez or Chia are asleep on top of the cat post, Jin saunters up and tries to sit on top of them. I love having them behind me. They're so beautiful. Thank you for watching, guys. I'll see you in tomorrow's episode. Make sure you look after yourself and make sure you have a beautiful, amazing rest of your day. And you know what I'm about to say because I say it every single day. Bye!